Hey y'all, this is Vivianne Castillo, and welcome to another episode of Choose Courage Inc. And for today, I thought I'd switch it up a little bit. So this episode might be a little shorter. I wanted to share a little bit of just some things that I've been thinking about as it pertains to life and business. And really, I want to talk about this motto, this way of being that I have been adopting. And it really comes from the motto of the Navy SEALs, which is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I've been thinking about how, especially in times of chaos and crisis and high stress environments and situations, it's easy to jump quickly too fast to being reactive, to addressing the thing at hand. But I'm recognizing that I'm in a slow is smooth phase of life. I'm recognizing that I'm recalibrating in some ways the things that matter to me. I'm recalibrating the way that I want to do business, how I want to show up in business, how I want my relationship with work to feel. And I have some big life decisions, some big changes that are on the horizon as well. That is forcing me to get more clear on, in this moment of pivot and change, how do I want things to feel afterwards? So slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And I'm in a slow is smooth phase. What does that mean in terms of what does that look like when it comes to business? So, if you know me, you'll know that I have my main business, HmntyCntrd. HmntyCntrd is essentially a consultancy, and we started in the spring of 2020. It really started as a passion project. It was never meant to become a business. It was more of a how do I bond with, how do I connect with people who are also interested in challenging the status quo? What does it mean to be human centered? And it turned into a business. It turned into something incredible where I've been able to work with Fortune 100 to Fortune 500 companies, helping HR organizations, executives, leaders think about what does it look like to be more trauma informed? How do you design and create product experiences that are less harmful? How do you protect the practitioner in the midst of creating those experiences? How do you help leaders develop emotional endurance and systems of care so that they can lead in ways that their people need to? And so it's been very rewarding work. It's been incredible. I've seen a lot of things good and I've seen a lot of bad. I'm often in the ugly and the true muck and messiness of workplace trauma. But I have a big heart for people who are suffering. And so it's been really good. But don't get me wrong, there can be a cost to that over a long period of time. I've been doing this specific flavor of consulting since 2019. And, really what it is I'm sitting with people who I'm trying to get them to understand what does it mean to be trauma informed. Since 2020, a lot of companies we've been at have unfortunately over indexed on a very truncated and extractive understanding of resilience. Resilience it's not because of the systems that we've created that's requiring you to rise this level of resilience that's the problem. The problem's you. You need to be more resilient. So we've been in these companies who have over-indexed on resilience and who have under-indexed on trauma. And what does it mean to be trauma-informed? And when I'm thinking about what does it mean to be trauma-informed for my clients, I'm talking about an approach to culture change that requires several things. It requires systemic redesign. It requires investment in educational and personal growth. It requires consistent and humble leadership. And it also requires equity-centered practices. And so, I believe that healthy teams aren't just high performing, they're trauma informed. That this can't just be an HR initiative or a one-time training. It's a design choice. It's a leadership commitment. It's a cultural rewiring. And so I'm in the mess of corporate when I'm doing that work. And I recently came to this place of, again, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, of slowing down and asking myself, how do I want my work to feel? How do I want the way that I am in my businesses to feel, and what needs to be true in order for that to happen? And one of the things that I've been thinking about and thinking through is I think I need a break from these high touch consulting engagements. And consulting is something I'm so passionate about. I still want to help people, but there's a flavor of work that we've been doing where I'm like, I need a little bit of a distance. There's a client or two of ours that I'm willing to continue to work with, but overall, we're kind of just restructuring humanity-centered in some ways moving forward. This isn't the first time we've done this. We've done this many times before, but we're restructuring it in a way where I'm like, how can we help more people without having to be so hands-on? And one of the ways we've been doing that is going through all of our content, our intellectual property, our training, our frameworks, and seeing how much stuff have we built in the last 5 years. And we just did an audit of that. And it's a little bit over 230 pieces of content of intellectual property, which is kind of wild. But again, that's a slow is smooth moment. Slowing down to take inventory of what we have done. And not only seeing it from a content perspective, but it's also just been a moment to pause and just be like, wow, like we created these things. We were creative in developing these concepts, these frameworks, the ways of thinking and moving. And I hope for some of you listening to this, I hope you feel an invitation to celebrate yourself and recognize how far you've come. Sometimes it's so easy, right? You're just continuing to like build and go and go and go and go. And we don't stop long enough to say, yo, look at where I'm at today and look at where I was. And so, but that can only happen in the slowest smooth period. So we've done this audit and now we are essentially structuring a lot of our content, our training, our offerings into packages that can be not only more affordable, but can hopefully help more people. That can give me some more space from these high touch consulting engagements that we've done. And again, there's a couple clients that we'll probably continue to work with, but overall, I'm like, how do I give myself more space to think, to design the life that I really want? And if you were to ask me, Viv, what does it look like in your ideal world? What would life feel and look like in terms of work? I would say that, gosh, I really love coaching. I've been doing entrepreneurship coaching for the last few years, and it has been so much fun. It's been so incredible just to see people realize what's within them and to see people being willing to bet on themselves. And so I've been doing this entrepreneurship group coaching and I'm like, I wanna lean more into that. I wanna serve folks in that community more. I wanna do more trainings. I'll often do these like one-off extra trainings each month, whether it's on intellectual property strategy or it's how to be thinking about sales in a way that's human-centered and isn't exploitative and isn't extracting. So I'm always passionate about how to just dive deeper into those things. If you want to know me, it's that I love entrepreneurship. Nothing makes me more excited. It is, to me, one of the most creative outlets. It's one of the greatest opportunities for personal growth and healing if you allow it to be. So I've experienced a lot of healing through entrepreneurship as well because it has surfaced things like, how do I understand my value? What does success mean to me? What does it mean for me to not lose myself to the things that don't serve me or that conflict my values? And so I want to do more of that. I want to create more. I want to design more ways to help people bet on themselves and at least learn the skills too, right? Even if you're not willing to jump into it full time. So I want to do that more and I want to work on Moonpause more. And Moonpause is my astrology for pets app. And there are just visions and dreams that me and the team have that require more of my attention. How do I leverage something like a pet astrology app to help people not only take better care of their pets, but also take better care of themselves? And so, really at the end of the day, my mission and vision in life has been to help people be and feel more free. And there was a big season of that where a lot of that was in high touch consulting, long consulting engagements. I still love, I still do, but I'm also learning to create space for new things that excite me. How do I honor that within myself? And I've been in workplaces, I've been in corporate America before where I got used to silencing that part of me of what I want and what I need and what I deserve. And so you're catching me in a slow and smooth season of life with business. I'm restructuring a lot. We're restructuring a lot with HmntyCntrd. I'm restructuring a lot with things that pertain to coaching, especially entrepreneurship coaching, and some of the executives that I'm working with when I coach. And I am being creative in that in ways that I haven't been able to before because there were certain engagements within consulting that were taking up more time. So for some of you, I hope you see this as an invitation to recalibrate, to honor the things that you want to pursue, and to give yourself permission to slow down enough to figure out how to make it happen. So honestly, the first 6 months of this year, up until the end of June, it's a lot of building, being strategic, and working in the shadows. So it means I've been a little quieter on LinkedIn because behind the scenes, I'm building some really dope things for HmntyCntrd to continue to support people and help people. And I'm also creating some new ways of supporting folks when it comes to them betting on themselves by pursuing some of their dreams that they want to turn into realities. And on top of that too, I'm also in a slow and smooth season when it comes to moon pause as we prepare to finally launch this app after all of the setbacks and the joys of building a tech product as a non-technical founder. And I want to give it more of my time. In my ideal world, I would be spending 35–40% coaching and doing those kinds of things and the rest on moon pause. And there's still room in there for consulting, but it's consulting on things and with clients that I'm really excited about. So we're getting a little bit pickier, which I'm fortunate that we have been able to do even in the beginning of HmntyCntrd. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people probably see us as working more with UX folks in the UX space. I think maybe only 15% of our clients are within that world. We work a lot actually with HR orgs and executives who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, who are recognizing that the ways of working and the ways of thinking about resilience aren't doing it. They're not cutting it. So I love doing that work. I'm kind of rambling here, but I think with this episode, I just want to kind of like share with you a little bit of how I'm thinking. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And once I'm over this slow is smooth phase, come end of June, July, I'm cooking. And I'm able to do that because instead of being so reactive and so caught up in all the chaos and things around me, I slowed down. I'm creating this cocoon and this shell for me to think, to create, and to design something different for myself. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. What does that look like in my personal life? Some of you may know this. I'll probably be a little bit more public about it over the next couple of weeks, but I'm moving abroad at the end of May to a city outside of Mexico City. So I'm moving to Mexico in a couple of weeks. I have my temporary residency visa. I don't have a return date in mind. It's a big move. And I know that I just have a deep peace about it. But I also know that it's a moment to get clear. How do I want my life to look and feel like after this move? What are the things that I now have more permission to change in light of this move? What are the relationships that matter to me? These are things that just come up. When you're making a move like this, you don't realize a couple of things. One, you don't realize how much crap you have. And so I've just been in this process of getting rid of a lot of stuff. And I'll share with you a vulnerable moment here in hopes that it will serve you. This past weekend, I was going through these boxes that I have in storage. And it's more of like, these are like boxes, the boxes you have where they move with you. You know that there's important stuff in there, but you don't really know what's in there. So you have this box and it's in that closet in your second guest bedroom, right? And so I'm going through these boxes where I know that there's important things in there. There's memories in there that I just have brought with me over the years. And when I tell you, Man, I was not prepared for the amount of grief in those boxes, the relationships that are no more in those boxes, the memories of certain friendships, family members that are different now, memories of seasons of life, chapters of life. So I wasn't expecting it, but that weekend of combing through those boxes and those memories ended up being a weekend of a lot of grief and 0 out of 5 stars. 0 out of 5 stars. Like, if you have these boxes, I was like, you know what? Every 5 years, people need to go through these boxes and clean it out. And if you're like me, where you've become estranged from certain family over the years, it's painful. It's painful when you see those memories. But it was also this cleansing moment of, yes, there's grief, there's been loss, but there's so much new ahead. There's so much life after this. There's so much more possibility now that can fit in some of these boxes. And so, yeah, this past weekend was just cleaning out those boxes and working through a lot of grief. So you don't realize that. You don't realize how much stuff you have. And you also you learn what really matters of what you have. I have, for me, it's art. I have like these pieces of art that I love. It's certain books that I love. And slow is smooth. So I've been going through my stuff for the past couple weeks now, few weeks, so that I can get more clear on the kind of life, the kind of home that I want to be in when I move. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. What that has looked like as well is I've just been taking longer pauses before I respond. So I'm just being more present to what is coming out of my mouth and how I'm expressing myself. I've been creating more space in my calendar to just be, to just think. Not because I'm productive, but again, I'm just trying to create room for intuition to speak clearly to me. Slow, smooth in life has looked like honoring my body, not as an afterthought, but more as a sacred partner to the kind of life I'm trying to create. So what does that mean then for sleep? What does that meant then for drinking water and just slowing down more to drink water and to be more aware of things like that? And so again, I guess I'm just kind of giving you a peek into my mind and my life right now. I'm in a slow, smooth phase of life. And it can be hard. You're kind of watching people and they're like, quote unquote, ramping up or they're doing all these things. But it's about trusting your gut. It's about recognizing what you need. And if that's completely different from everyone else, so be it. Slow is smooth, so that smooth can be fast. And it's not necessarily even about speed. It's more about clarity, right? Fast is possible because you're clear on what steps to take in front of you. You're not stutter stepping or, questioning what direction to go. So if you're listening to this and you're finding that you are craving more clarity, you're finding that you want less chaos, I hope that you're able to give yourself some permission and space to plan so that you can shift your speed and shift the way that you are trusting what you need and how you want life to look and feel. Because slow is smooth and smooth is fast isn't just a motto. It can be a manifesto for building something that actually lasts, both in your personal life as well as professionally. So thank you for being here. Thank you for holding space for me as I just share a little bit of what's been on my mind. And thank you for allowing me to experiment of how I might want to do some episode. And again, this is more off the cuff, not scripted, but I think it's a good practice, right? Of just showing up where you are and how you are. Thanks for hanging out with us and diving into some of these real and unfiltered conversations. We know your time is valuable, and so we don't take it for granted. If today's episode made you think, if it challenged you, or gave you something new to consider, we'd love for you to hit that follow button on whatever streaming service you're using. That way, you'll never miss an episode when we drop them. And if you want to go even deeper, sign up for our newsletter at choosecourageinc.com, and you'll get updates on new episodes, access to exclusive freebies, and first dibs on coaching opportunities and other resources to help you make bold moves in your life and business. So we appreciate you, we see you, and we're rooting for you. Until next time, keep choosing courage over comfort, and a friendly reminder to drink some water.